Have you ever thought that retirement would be a time of peace and enjoyment after years of hard work, only to find yourself struggling with financial worries you thought had been resolved? I understand that feeling. Many of my friends, former teachers, engineers, nurses, all share the same concern. Why do I still feel financially unstable even after preparing for so many years? It's a strangely familiar story. The sad truth is that these mistakes aren't due to a lack of intelligence, but because the financial system, investment advertisements, and even advice from acquaintances can lead us to make rushed, uninformed decisions, and the consequences can last for the rest of our lives. But here's the good news. You can avoid that. Once you recognize the common mistakes, you'll know how to prevent them, adjust your approach, and manage your finances more proactively. In this video, I'll share 7 common financial mistakes that many retirees make, from seemingly harmless expenses to poor investment choices. More importantly, I'll show you how to avoid each one of them. If you find this topic important, please hit like and share it with your friends and loved ones who are retired or approaching retirement. They might really need this information too. Have you made any of these mistakes? Or is there something you wish you had known earlier? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your story. Now let's begin this journey so we can truly retire with peace of mind. After retirement, many people start looking into investment channels as a way to generate passive income, which makes perfect sense in the context of rising inflation and ever-increasing living costs. However, a concerning reality is that quite a few individuals have poured their money into investment areas they don't truly understand, leading to significant losses that directly impact what was supposed to be a secure retirement. Have you ever heard a friend brag about earning 30% returns from emerging tech stocks? Or seen flashy advertisements for cryptocurrency promising to make you rich overnight? These stories sound very convincing, especially when you have idle savings and are seeking a worthy investment opportunity. But those seemingly attractive opportunities are often sophisticated financial traps if you lack sufficient knowledge. What needs to be clearly understood is this. Every type of investment carries its own risks. Commodities, penny stocks, and especially cryptocurrencies are not shortcuts to quick wealth. They are highly volatile markets that require data analysis, strategic planning, and emotional discipline. Many retirees invest based on gut feelings, hearsay, or guaranteed wins recommended by friends or social media groups. They don't spend time reading financial reports, analyzing the market, or even understanding how the product they're buying actually works. The issue becomes even more serious when you realize, in retirement, the ability to financially recover from a loss is very limited. If a 35-year-old loses $50,000 in the market, they have decades to make it back. But if a 67-year-old loses the same amount from their retirement fund, the consequence might be having to cut expenses, sell off assets, or worse, depend on support from family members. However, it's not a hopeless situation. Financial literacy is something anyone can learn, regardless of age. If you're interested in investing, start with foundational knowledge. Instead of throwing money into markets you can't control, take the time to consult with certified financial advisors, read books on personal finance, or follow neutral financial education platforms. A sound investment strategy doesn't have to be risky, it needs to be informed. If you want to pursue safe investments after retirement, consider index funds, government bonds, or other investment products with clearly defined risk controls. What matters most is asking yourself, do I truly understand what I'm doing? And if this investment loses value, will it seriously impact my life? The market will always offer opportunities, but not every opportunity is meant for you, especially if it comes with risks you don't fully grasp. Stay calm, invest with reason rather than emotion, and never let ignorance guide the financial decisions of your life. In the next section, we'll explore another silent yet common mistake many retirees make, one that very few people see coming: failing to create a proper tax plan. Many people enter retirement with a sense of relief, thinking they no longer have to pay taxes on wages like before. But in reality, retirement opens up an entirely new tax landscape, and if you're not properly prepared, you may be shocked by the amount of taxes you still owe. Ironically, many people assume that once they stop working, they also stop paying taxes. Imagine living off income from your 401k, pension, and Social Security benefits. You might not realize that most of these income sources are still taxable, sometimes at a fairly high rate, depending on your total annual income. And because you no longer have a regular paycheck with tax withholding, your end-of-year tax bill can come as a financial surprise if you haven't planned ahead. Many retirees don't anticipate that withdrawing from a 401k or IRA could push them into a higher tax bracket, especially if they withdraw large amounts in a single year for major expenses: travel, buying a car, home renovations. In fact, if your total income exceeds certain thresholds, a portion of your Social Security benefits may also be taxed. The trap lies in how this income builds up quietly until you receive the tax bill. But the good news is, this is entirely manageable as long as you plan for taxes in advance. Consulting a tax professional is not a luxury, it's a necessary step. They can help you estimate your annual tax liability, guide you on how to withdraw from different income sources in a tax-efficient manner, or even suggest spreading out your withdrawals to avoid moving into a higher tax bracket. Some people adopt a strategy known as tax diversification, allocating their savings across taxable accounts, tax-deferred accounts, and tax-free accounts, like Roth IRAs. This gives you more flexibility when drawing income and helps you control your taxable income. Another important consideration is making estimated tax payments. Without a paycheck to automatically withhold taxes, the IRS requires you to estimate and pay taxes quarterly if your total tax liability exceeds a certain threshold. Failing to do so may result in additional penalties for underpayment. Rather than being surprised by a large tax bill in April, you can ease the burden by spreading it throughout the year. This approach not only keeps your finances more stable, but also gives you peace of mind when it comes to spending. Lastly, don't forget to review deductions and tax credits you may still qualify for, such as medical deductions, long-term care expenses, or credits for seniors. Retirement doesn't mean the end of your tax benefits. On the contrary, understanding the tax rules can help you save thousands of dollars each year. In the next section, we'll explore why failing to set a basic budget can cause you to lose control of your spending from the very first year of retirement, and how to avoid that in a simple, effective way. When entering retirement, many people carry the belief that, I'm no longer working, so my expenses will definitely go down. However, reality often shows the opposite, especially in the first year after leaving the workforce. And without a specific budget to track and adjust your spending, things can quickly spiral out of control. Have you ever heard the phrase, retirement honeymoon effect? It refers to the early phase of retirement when you feel free, happy, and eager to enjoy life through travel, dining out, and finally doing all the things you had postponed. That mindset is completely natural. After all, you've worked your whole life for this freedom. But it's exactly during this time that spending tends to spike, with many unplanned expenses arising. Booking vacation packages, home renovations, shopping for grandchildren. And without a budget, you won't realize how much you're spending until your savings account noticeably dwindles. Even more critical is that not having a budget makes it hard to determine your safe spending level, meaning the amount you can spend consistently for years without depleting your assets. Many retirees are overconfident, assuming that as long as they withdraw steadily from their 401k or IRA, they'll be fine. But if you don't properly account for factors like inflation, rising healthcare costs, or unexpected events, you could face a financial crisis within the next 5 to 10 years. The good news is that creating a budget isn't complicated. In fact, all you need is an Excel sheet or a free tool like the Retirement Budget Template on holyschmidt.com/budget, a resource specifically designed for retirees. You simply input your income sources, Social Security, pensions, investments, and fixed expenses, housing, insurance, medications, along with variable expenses, dining, entertainment, travel. From there, you'll clearly see how much you can freely spend without exceeding your budget. If you've never created a budget before, start simple. Track every expense for 30 days using pen and paper, an app, or a spreadsheet. After a month, you'll clearly identify which expenses are truly necessary and which can be trimmed. This helps you make better decisions, not just to save money, but to live in alignment with your values. Another major benefit of budgeting is that it helps you adjust your spending habits over time. When you see that you're burning money on things that don't bring lasting value, you'll feel more motivated to change. On the flip side, if you realize you're not allocating enough for important areas like health or family connection, you can course correct before it's too late. Retirement doesn't mean you stop managing your finances. It's when you need to take control more than ever. A clear budget is the compass that helps you navigate this new life safely and intentionally. In the next section, we'll talk about a common yet often unchecked trap: overspending, especially on short-term pleasures like travel or helping adult children, and how to maintain financial balance in those emotionally charged moments. Retirement is a time when many people feel they finally have the right to live for themselves after decades of working, saving, and sacrificing. And that's true. You deserve to enjoy it. But that very sense of being deserving can sometimes lead to a common financial mistake: overspending, especially in the early years of retirement. Have you ever thought, "I've saved my whole life. If I don't travel now, then when?" Or, "My child is struggling. What's the harm in helping them just this once?" These thoughts are completely natural and often stem from sincere love and generosity. But the problem is, if these expenses occur frequently and without a clear plan, they can quietly erode the financial foundation you spent a lifetime building. One of the reasons retirees tend to overspend is that they no longer feel the same wallet pain as when they were working. When you had a fixed income from wages, spending was naturally limited. You knew you had to reserve money for other needs. But with a large savings account or access to retirement funds like a 401k, it's easy to fall into the illusion that spending a little won't make a difference. The trouble is that little can add up to tens of thousands of dollars over months and years. This risk increases when you're spending on others, particularly adult children. In modern culture, many parents continue to carry financial burdens for their grown-up children, from covering college tuition and paying off loans to helping with down payments on homes or cars. Helping is admirable, but if you're dipping into your retirement accounts to do so, pause and consider, are you truly helping them or putting yourself at risk? However, protecting your finances doesn't mean living miserably. The solution lies in balance and clarity. Set clear spending limits for categories like travel, family, and entertainment at the beginning of each year. This doesn't reduce joy. It helps you enjoy life responsibly. Create a freedom fund, a small portion of your budget you can spend freely without affecting your overall financial plan. When it's gone, stop spending and don't feel guilty. If you're prone to emotional spending, for instance, shopping when you're feeling down or booking a trip after hearing about a friend's vacation, try implementing a 48-hour pause before making a decision. That time allows you to reflect. Is this an impulsive want or a genuine need? Additionally, you can use expense tracking tools like Mint, YNAB, You Need a Budget, or spreadsheet templates from personal finance websites. These tools not only help you manage cash flow, but also develop healthier spending habits over time. Controlled spending doesn't mean giving up joyful experiences. It means choosing the most meaningful ones, with the confidence that you're protecting your financial future. When you spend intentionally, you not only preserve your freedom today, but also ensure that you can continue enjoying life in the years ahead without becoming dependent. In the next section, we'll explore another silent but significant mistake: delaying important financial decisions, such as estate planning or the timing of claiming Social Security, and why postponing these choices can sometimes lead to the most serious consequences. Retirement is not just about stopping work. It's also the time when you need to make financial decisions that will shape the rest of your life. Yet many people choose to deal with it later, postponing important choices like when to claim Social Security, whether to create an estate plan, or even who would manage their finances if they're no longer mentally capable. Unfortunately, the consequences of such delays often only become clear when it's already too late. Have you ever thought, "I'll write my will later, I'm still healthy," or "I still have time, no need to think about financial or healthcare power of attorney just yet"? These statements are common and dangerous. In reality, postponing these important decisions doesn't just affect you, but also places emotional and financial burdens on your loved ones, the ones who may have to step in and sort things out in an emergency. One major decision that's often overlooked is the timing of claiming Social Security. Many people choose to start at age 62, thinking, take what I can while I can. But if you can delay until age 70, your monthly benefit can increase significantly, even up to 76% more than if you claimed early. Without carefully analyzing your needs and expected lifespan, you may be trading long-term stability for short-term reassurance. Likewise, not creating an estate plan, including a will, financial power of attorney, and healthcare proxy, can lead to legal disputes over your assets, putting your family through drawn-out, expensive, and stressful processes. Sadly, many only begin thinking about this when their health starts declining, their memory fades, or after seeing someone else face a heartbreaking situation. The good news is you can avoid all of that simply by starting early. Think of financial decision-making as a gift for yourself and your family. A gift of clarity, peace of mind, and preparedness. Creating an estate plan doesn't mean you're being pessimistic. It means you're being loving and responsible. If you feel overwhelmed or don't know where to begin, seek out a financial advisor who specializes in retirement and estate planning. They can help assess your situation, guide you toward decisions that align with your values, and ensure all legal documents are properly completed. Just a few sessions can save you and your loved ones years of stress and uncertainty. Also, don't forget to revisit and update these plans regularly because life circumstances change. A loved one passes away, assets shift, tax laws evolve. Reviewing your plans annually helps you keep everything under control. In life, some things can wait, but strategic financial decisions shouldn't be delayed. Remember, taking charge today is protecting tomorrow, not just for yourself, but for those you love. Next, we'll explore a rarely discussed yet critically important issue, the lack of a backup plan, and why you always need a solid plan B for your retirement journey. Have you ever heard the saying, hope for the best but prepare for the worst? In retirement life, that's not just good advice. It's a survival strategy. No matter how carefully you plan, life can always throw the unexpected your way. A sudden illness, financial market turbulence, or a family member facing a crisis that requires your support. And without a backup plan, a plan B, you could quickly find yourself unprepared and lose the stability you worked so hard to build. Many retirees only plan for the ideal scenario, assuming they'll stay healthy, the market will remain steady, and expenses will be predictable. But what happens if you suddenly need surgery and the cost exceeds your insurance coverage? Or if you or your spouse requires long-term care with no insurance support? The reality is, these situations are not uncommon, and when they occur, they can rapidly drain your retirement funds. A common mistake is placing too much confidence in fixed income sources like Social Security or pensions, forgetting that they lack flexibility and may not be sufficient to handle major disruptions. For instance, what if you lose a significant investment due to a financial crisis? Or if a loved one becomes unemployed and depends on you for long-term support, do you have a plan? A contingency plan isn't for pessimists. It's a tool for the wise. It can include several elements. Emergency fund. You should maintain at least 6 to 12 months worth of essential expenses in an accessible account. This is your first cushion against unexpected events. Long-term care insurance. This often overlooked insurance can protect hundreds of thousands of dollars from being spent on nursing homes, in-home care, or rehabilitation. Emergency contacts and legal designees. Who will make decisions for you if you become mentally incapacitated? You need to have financial and healthcare power of attorney assigned legally. Flexible investment allocation. Avoid putting all your money into one volatile asset class. A balanced portfolio can help you withstand market downturns. If you don't yet have these elements in place, don't worry. It's not too late to start. Take a weekend to review your entire retirement plan and ask yourself, what if? Write out the scenarios, then create responses. You don't need to solve everything at once. Just having a direction puts you far ahead of having nothing at all. To visualize it more easily, think of your contingency plan as the airbag in a car. You hope never to need it, but when the unexpected happens, it might be the one thing that keeps you safe. In the final section, we'll address a silent enemy that's slowly draining the finances of many retirees: credit card debt, and the simple ways to avoid sinking into the trap of high-interest cycles. When people think of financial threats in retirement, they often picture big issues like medical expenses or market volatility. But sometimes it's the smallest things that silently cause the greatest damage, and credit card debt is a prime example. It's not a scary debt at first glance, but if left unchecked, it can quickly become a long-term burden that directly impacts your quality of life and financial security. Have you ever thought, "I'll just use the card for small purchases and pay it off gradually"? That mindset is very common and very risky. Credit cards can be convenient, flexible, and useful tools when used responsibly. But when you don't pay off your full balance each month, interest can accumulate at a rate of 20 to 25% annually. At that rate, a $5,000 debt can balloon into $6,000 or $7,000 in just 1 year, without adding any real value to your life. The issue becomes more serious when you're living on a fixed income. In retirement, your monthly cash flow often comes from Social Security, pensions, or withdrawals from retirement accounts, leaving little room for prolonged debt payments. Every dollar spent on credit card interest is a dollar taken away from essentials like medication, groceries, or healthy recreation. Many people use credit cards to temporarily cover unexpected costs: car repairs, home appliances, or helping grandchildren. These small charges can easily spiral out of control if you don't have a budget or a concrete repayment plan. Some even use credit cards for fun spending, a fancy meal, an unexpected gift, forgetting that the joy may linger on next month's statement. However, you can handle credit card debt proactively and effectively. First, assess your total outstanding balance and the interest rates for each card. Focus on paying off the highest interest card first, the avalanche strategy, or start with the card with the lowest balance to build momentum, the snowball strategy. Temporarily cut back on spending, switch to cash or debit cards to prevent new debt from piling up. If the debt is beyond your ability to manage, consider calling the card issuer to negotiate a lower interest rate, or reach out to a nonprofit financial counseling service. They can help you create a repayment plan without harming your credit score. Most importantly, change your mindset around credit card use. A credit card is not a money source to spend now and pay later. It's a convenience tool, but only if you stay in control. If you've struggled with cards before, don't hesitate to close a few or pause usage for a while to reset healthier financial habits. Retirement should be a time of peace and ease, not anxiety over monthly credit card statements. Take back control, one small purchase, one mindful decision at a time. Thank you for taking the time to join me through the insights we've just shared. I truly appreciate every moment you've spent listening, because I understand that in the journey of retirement, the willingness to learn and improve is the greatest gift you can give yourself. Together, we've reviewed 7 common financial mistakes that many retirees make, from uninformed investing and overlooking tax planning to accumulating credit card debt. Each mistake carries a valuable lesson, and more importantly, each one can be prevented with preparation, knowledge, and perseverance. I invite you to pause for a moment and ask yourself, what part of this message resonated with me, and where will I begin to make a change? Leave a comment. It doesn't have to be long. Even a small thought can inspire someone else going through a similar situation. If you found this content helpful, don't hesitate to click like and share it with friends and loved ones, those who are already retired or about to enter this new chapter. Who knows, you might be the one planting the seed for a positive change in their life. I also hope you'll continue this journey with me in future episodes, where we'll explore more financial strategies, life skills, and empowering mindsets to help you live a truly meaningful and fulfilling retirement. And finally, I want to leave you with this message. It's never too late to start over, and you're never too small to make a difference. As long as you choose to begin, everything can change.